Hello everyone, this is Darwell20, and welcome to episode 57 of Darwell20's Let's Play of FTB Evolution, where it's time to do some enchanting, or at least some better enchanting. So if I'm not mistaken, I should be able to get like, I don't know, 10-ish hell shelves. Does that sound like a plan? Hope so, because that's what we're doing today. I want to like beeline our way through getting all the enchanting as quickly as we can, and it shouldn't take long because like I've been everywhere. I can go places and things and stuff. So like let's make this super cool if we can, and just get access to really OP enchants. Like the protection 9 level stuff or whatever number it is. So that's the plan for today. So let's take a look at our quests and see what's on the path, right? So the path of fire versus the path of water. Oh, okay, so you can actually go different directions with those. I usually go down the fire one, right? Isn't that what I usually do? That focuses on Quanta and that focuses on Arcana. But like once we get to the end, like we're cool either way. So realistically, the primary focus is to get to level 100 of Eterna, which will unlock the ability to do lots of cool stuff, right? As a reminder for those of you who may have never played with Apotheosis before, a real quick primer on this is Eterna represents the level of enchant you can get. By default in vanilla Minecraft, you can get up to level 30. So Eterna 30 is the same as vanilla. But all the bookshelves we're going to get through Apotheosis let you go beyond that up to 100. So at the end, once we get to Eterna level 100, you will be able to get much higher enchants. For example, if we look at looting, you'll see that by default, there's looting 1, 2, and 3. That's what you normally get from Minecraft, and you need Eterna or enchanting level 30 in vanilla. But as you go beyond that 30, you can get up to looting 4, 5, 6, 7, and then eventually 8. So you'll need probably close to Eterna level 100 in order to get that looting 8 level. Quanta adds some randomness. So the higher your Quanta, adds more randomness to it. So it's like a plus or minus modifier on Eterna. So if you were at a level 100 Eterna and a high level of Quanta, you will get enchants anywhere from levels 80 to 120. So like it could be bad, but it could be good. And then there's a quantic stability modifier that reduces the negative effects. So if we had perfect quantic stability, Quanta would make us go from somewhere between 100 and 120 rather than 80 to 120. You know what I mean? And then Arcana just affects the rareness of enchants. So like things like protection are very common. When you put something in there, you'll get protection pretty commonly. When you get like things like looting and fortune are really uncommon. So it's rare that you get those. A higher level of Arcana reverses that. So that looting and fortune become much more common, where protection becomes much less common. So sometimes Arcana is good if you want a rare enchant. Sometimes it's bad because like, hey, I want protection. It's really annoying to get protection when you have high Arcana, but you might want protection. So we're going to build bookshelves that basically have really high Eterna, really high Quanta with high stability, and then we're going to have one set of bookshelves with low Arcana, basically 0, and then another set of bookshelves with high Arcana, basically 100, and then we get to decide which set of bookshelves to use based on our goals, whether we want something rare like fortune or looting, or if we want something common like protection. Is that cool? All right, so that's, the plan. So let's get into hell shelves, right? So hell shelves, when you look at attributes on the tooltip of the shelves, it'll tell you, how much it gives, right? So if we look at like a regular bookshelf, you'll note that it just gives +2 Eterna, right? And if you think about it, you need 15 bookshelves to hit the max enchanting level. So, +2 times 2 equals 30. Perfect sense, right? All the math adds up. You can get +3 Eterna from each hell shelf, and that will bring you up to a max of 45. But it will also note Quanta will be modified as well with hell shelves, which is fine. It's pretty much what we want. So if we remove like a bunch of these and replace them, and when we look at the tooltip on the top, you'll see our high level of Eterna and Quanta going on. Now, if I remember correctly, there's like a default of 15 Arcana that just, happens automatically. And that just represents probably Minecraft's like regular vanilla mechanics of, stuff. So that'll get me up to 42. Close enough. close enough. And that has higher quanta. Now, one of the first things we're going to want to do is actually let's get like, a couple extra bookshelves, especially because we have some books. That should be cool. Another thing, Apotheosis makes it so corners work. So like, notice we're at 40. If I did this, we're at 44. So corners are valid in Apotheosis. Also, you can kind of like go all the way around. So I could still loop this thing all the way around. If I do decide to loop it, I'm probably going to need to move my experience holder because it's kind of in the way. So is my anvil, but moving those is not going to be a big deal. Okay. So now that we've got a decent amount of Eterna, we can look at what we can do with our health shelves because there's several different types of health shelf. And this pattern is followed for the other bookshelves as well. So like if we look at infused health shelf, it gives us more Eterna and it can go all the way up to 60 and it gives us more quanta as well. And then we can take that infused health shelf and upgrade it to one of 2 or 3 kinds. The first kind is a glowing hell shelf, which gives you similar Eterna and Quanta, but it also adds Arcana. So it's basically an upgrade that says, hey, same as this thing, but more Arcana. Or the other alternative would be the blazing hell shelf, which is even more Eterna and more Quanta, but no Apotheosis, and you lose Enchanting clues. So usually I go with the glowing one when I'm at the Hell Shelf tier, because I like that a little bit better than having even more Quanta, but we'll see. One note, too, is some enchants require certain levels of things, so most of them are going to require at least a certain value of Eterna, so that makes sense, right? Because, just like you can't get looting 3 with level 1. But other things require a certain amount of Quanta or Arcana, maybe. So pay attention to these other lines when you're looking at the recipe. Sometimes it requires to be above a certain value, like at least 30. But sometimes it'll require somewhere between. It'll be like between 30 and 60. So if you're trying to enchant something and you're not getting the upgrade option that you want, check to see if it maybe says like you have too much Quanta, because that's definitely possible. All right, enough explaining. Let's do thing. So this actually needs to be at 45 in order to enchant. So if I do that, you should now be at 45 and 42, which means level 45 infusion requirement met. And then I just need 45 levels to do this. And then I will get, bing, a new bookshelf. Cool. And then I can upgrade that to the glowstone one to get me even more Eterna and Quanta, right? So like this'll, normal health shelf lets me get up to 45. The infused one lets me get up to 60. Now I'm going to get some Arcana mixed in there as well, making it a little easier to get rare enchants. Cool. And just like with vanilla enchanting, you're going to, run into the situation where it's going to cost a little bit more, but that ain't no big deal. So where are we at? Level 50 now. I ain't going to sweat, a few levels of experience. We've pretty much got this maxed out now, right? So we're at 54. And if you think about it, like every one of these upgrades is giving us just a little bit more stuff, right? So pretty cool. And I didn't Arcana these yet, but I will probably. My main goal right now is really just to get me to the point where we're at 60, which mission accomplished, right? We can now enchant at level 60, which unlocks a bunch of stuff. So that's a done deal. And if we look at our quests, yeah, we did the thing, right? Now there's occasionally some other, nifty little things to get that we should talk about. So like, see what you're doing. These upgrades let you get extra enchanting clues, which basically like tells you a little bit more about what you're gonna get when you do an enchant. So like if I threw my something in there that's not enchanted, it might show you more details about what you're gonna get, which is a cool thing, right? Right now we're at Enchanting Clues 1, so we get told one of the enchants we're going to get, but we know there's others. Whereas if we, had that other thing, these guys, we would get extra Enchanting Clues just by adding these shelves to the standard area. The other thing I want to get next is this dude. So for this, we're going to need 4 infused hell shelves. So let's make sure that we have enough experience to pull this off. Are these all infused at this point? So definitely cool. And like we realistically don't need quite as much of the regular vanilla bookshelves pretty soon. Also, I know there's like one or two things from other mods that give you like a massive amount of Eterna, so that's kind of cool. I think we should be able to search for Eterna, right? And then just kind of see like what else gives it. So like amethyst clusters give a little Eterna. I thought there was something from Malum that gave Eterna. Yeah, this guy. He gives 10 Eterna. So like that's cool. Remember like the toolbook said it was like, oh, if you had just 3 brilliant obelisks, you'd have a full chanting table. Like we could absolutely do that and save ourselves a little bit of trouble. I think we probably will, to be honest with you. Like, let's do that now, actually. Spirit infusion, huh? That is the spirit altar. So we should be able to just make a simple recipe for this, right? Okay. And then in this pattern, we'll put you. And what goes in the center will be 2 runewood planks. So let's see if that's already in the filter. Yep, actually the exact same pattern. So that's cool. And then on the outside is raw brilliance. So let's make sure that one of these dudes filters handles raw brilliance. Actually, we don't need to add that, right? Because, yeah, that's the brilliance of our system. So now, if we wanted a brilliant obelisk, are you going to do thing? Yeah, you are. Sweet. I like that. Now, if we got 2 more of them, oh, short on aqueous and aerial spirits, huh? Really? Surprising me that we're low on that. How are we even a little bit low on that? Well, doesn't matter. At least I can, you know, demonstrate a little bit. Can I make one more? No. It's okay. That means I can like remove all of you and just replace you with something like that. Now, in fairness, is that going to block up 2? Yeah, it might not be great. Right? But like kind of cool, right? If we maybe patterned it so that they're only in the corners, that could be cool. Right? And then we could like we'll save this corner for the other one, and that would be kind of nifty. I like that. That's like a cool looking design, right? I don't see why we wouldn't do that. Cool. Do I want to turn my glowing hell shelves? Not yet. Not yet. So to make these, I just need infused hell shelves. So let me get like 3 more hell shelves. Actually, let me get 4. We're probably like being a little wasteful right now, but I won't optimize this design until you know, we're like at a point where doing that means something, right? Sweet. Somehow I did a goal. I like that. Make this, make that, and then make me an enchantment library. So the enchantment libraries are super cool because they can store enchants. So what I'm going to do is stick my enchantment library right here, and then I'm going to modify this dude to block in the back and push to the right. So now when I get something enchanted, right, like leggings, okay, when they pull the enchant off the book, they're going to push it into the adjacent library. I've done this many times before, but, you know, just in case you guys, it's been a while since I've really set this up, right? So now I have like a nice library where I can like easily access all my enchants. And that's a good time to start pulling enchants out of here. Now, the deal is like it won't auto-combine for you, but it will remember the largest enchant you ever gave it. So if we look at like sharpness, for example, the max level I've ever given it is sharpness 3. So even though we just put a bunch of sharpness 1 books in there, we can pull out the full sharpness 3 if we want by holding shift. And that's super cool, right? Okay, you go away. Forget why I have a fishing rod, but there's probably a reason. Books can go away, and inventory relatively clear. Let's get the rest of our enchanted books. Now we have a lovely little library of all the enchanted books that exist, that we found so far. And now I can easily do stuff. Also, super cool tip, you can put items in there and it'll filter it to just the items that receive that enchant, which is cool. Right? Liking that. All right, so now let's progress. So if we look at the quests, you'll see the progression is pretty clear. Let's get, I do like the idea of getting, so it's interesting, I can't pick the gems chest, but I guess when I choose chaos, I can occasionally get gems as a, I don't know. So the quests will tell you that, you know, our next task, so if we want to go down the water path, I think the main difference between these is it's more Arcana focused than it is Eterna focused. So like these guys are all about like, hey, you get more Arcana. It's the same levels for Eterna, so like yada yada. But like where this guy gives you like a bunch of Arcana and a little Quanta if you choose the side shelf, this is like the opposite, right? These guys always give you Quanta, but you can get a little Arcana if you choose one of the other shelf types. We'll probably wind up using both, because the C shelves is where I usually go when I want a ton of Arcana. But the next progression path is venturing deeper, and that's making a deep shelf. So there's dormant and then regular deep shelves. And I think I told you how to make deep shelves, right? Dormant deep shelves times 10. Perfect. Cool. And these give you +2 Arcana up to 30, but they're dormant, and that's why. You need to enchant them, and you have to be at least level 60, at least 40 Quanta, and at least 40 Arcana. So maybe I should go upgrade all my hell shelves to be Arcana granting. And if you want, you could do seashells to help out with that, right? And that's not going to be a big deal. We just need to wait for some prismarine, courtesy of our handy dandy soul fire thing at create, which takes a minute, especially when we're doing 64 at a time. Look at that cool thing on JEI at the moment. What mod is adding all this stuff? Curved Azure Sea Stone from Ender's Cataclysm. It's cool how, like, it just so happens that these tiles all appeared in JEI just the right way so that you can actually see the shapes that they're making. That's neat, in my opinion. Just saying. Right? So you should have no problem getting infused now, too. Right? So you'll note these guys give you like a big boost of that. But generally speaking, when I'm working on this, I don't want their Arcana version. I want their extra, or their Quanta version. I want this guy. Now, how are we for Hearts of the Sea? I remember like maybe not easy. So we have 2. And to get those involves a bunch of this, or a bunch of this, or some of that, or B trades. So like at some point we'll get into this process, because that's probably the way we're going to go. I'm trying to avoid the whole mystical agriculture path, just for the sake of I've done it recently. So all good. So we're at +5 Arcana on this dude, and he would be the same. I would only get 20 once I start burning up Hearts of the Sea, which maybe at some point I'll do, but not right now. Oh yeah, I like that one too. Insert enchanted books to prevent them from appearing on the table. That's kind of powerful if you think about it. But for now, we should be able to easily just, what I could do is probably just replace you, because you're also going to give me Arcana, right? And now we're at a decent, or it also gives me Eterna, right? It's the same values, right? So now we've got what we need to do this. We need at least 40. We've got 40. So should be easy. Just going to need And at the end of the day, all this is costing me is a little experience. And as mentioned, we have a ton, right? You know, maybe use more. We don't have quite as much of a ton as I would expect us to have. Oh, I see. You have a little problem with spiders, probably because your area of effect is tiny. Oh, and you have a lot of junk that we need to handle here, don't we? It's a lot of junk. Slime balls we should be handling. This we should be handling. Let's do something cool here real quick. The only green is white, right? Yes. So let's extract 8 items at a time on orange. And on the up, insert on orange. Remember, that's only going to allow me to insert things that we already have stuff for. So now we get to, like, store some of this junk. So, like, this would be cool to have. This would be cool to have. Leather scrap. I don't think I need those right now. Is there anything else I kind of want? We could also do similar filtering to be like, hey, give me any enchanted stuff. And then we could pass that to the... So we should have like a separate chest that handles enchants. That would be cool. Right? I should add that with my laser IO filtering trick. Right? So let's... The gems are cool. We should definitely grab any gems we get too. Home. So like this stuff should be getting added. As should this. Wouldn't mind having these guys. Even though there's like not a ton of them, it makes sense to me that we would, you know, get the reliquary drops. Is there a mod filter in Laser IO? Well, there kind of is. That would be cool. What if we got another chest? Right? And on here, I want to do this in a smart way. We'll start with, oh, that's right, you need to split. A mod filter. And then also a data filter, right? So you're going to allow things from reliquary, okay? And then you're going to allow things that are enchanted. Cool. You know what else I would like you to allow? Did we get anything in here that's like, yes. So in theory, this should filter on having an affix, right? Or a rarity. Rarity sounds good. Right? So if you have any level of rarity, you should also go in this chest. How does that sound? Right? So like, you just got me a bunch of enchanted and rare things from here, which is cool, right? Now, real quick, I'm going to do a adjustment to this, make you orange, so that you pull any enchanted stuff out of here, right? And that's cool. And we're probably going to need to chest upgrade. What are you, sophisticated? That's what I want. I want basic to iron tier. And then iron. Oh, you can go basic to diamond directly? Oh, no, I didn't think so. Iron. Well, I can actually, because I just made that. Cool. Right? So now we're basically filtering out anything that's an Apotheosis rarity level. And we're filtering out anything... Let's, like, speed that up real quick. Cool. How cool is that? And then same thing here. That should grab all my reliquary stuff. See it all at the bottom? How cool is that? So now if we sort this, now Wonder if I want to include things that are from Apotheosis itself. Because that would be gems, right? So if I edit this and we stole one of these gems, this would say any Apotheosis stuff goes in there too. And that's cool, right? Spider eyes should be in the drawer system. And I don't think we need spells right now. I don't think we need unenchanted gear, right? And that's pretty cool. So let's go back down into our basement. Oh, good. There's some dudes out there. And that's a nice way to filter stuff, right? Give me your spirits. I need enchanting things. Love that. So that's cool, right? So then eventually, once we have like a really good filter here, like once we determine there's definitely no junk we're getting that we care about, then we can handle that, right? And then for this guy, what we could do is disenchant the things. So this would be cool. You ready for this design? I like this design. Let's do laser IO with a laser connector. Did I not teach you the advanced laser connector? Okay. So you're going to take anything that's enchantable, right? Only because I need your stuff, dudes. It's kind of funny to me how Male made Phantoms like, oh, now there's actually a reason to have them. That's kind of cool. There you go. We want that connected. We're going to make your color cyan like that. I like that. So you're going to only extract things that have a data filter. Which is Minecraft enchantments. Cool. Cool. Now, part of me wants to void anything that comes out of this one. And the thing I have in my basement, I want to keep. Because, like, in my basement, when I do it, I'm going to, like, enchant this sword. And then I want the sword back so I can re-enchant it again. Right? But this stuff, I kind of want to void anything. So we'll deal with that in a minute. Let's go back to the basement. And we're going to have you and you. So we'll link that. And then on the down, you can insert to the blue box. Right? So now you should be getting enchanted stuff from our mob farm. So now, any mob drops that are enchanted go in here. And that's kind of cool. Right? I like that. Now, eventually this is going to fill up with junk. So we're going to need to, like, figure out how to trash all this in a way that's, like, super safe so I never accidentally trash one of these things. Because I'd be very sad if I trashed my Eclipse Alloy Sword. I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I can make a new one. I just wouldn't be happy about it. Is that cool? I feel like that's cool. Are you on speedy mode? No, you could be faster, right? I feel like you were taking a while. Let's go. Cool. Do your thing. How cool of a setup is that? I don't usually go that far, but I was like, you know what? This is the series where I'm going to do stuff like this. The stuff I don't normally do. Make sure we're going nice and far. And then at some point, I will figure out how to handle... I'd like to automate anything that has a rarity turning into the dusts thing. I'm not sure if I can automate that process, but we're going to try. Cool. All right, so let's wrap up the episode here. We'll come back next time, and we'll continue with, like, improvements like this. Just to be super cool. And then, you know, go from there. For now, Del20 sign off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.